Hi guys, Louis at Defending Elvis. I've just done my weightlifting. 58-year-old man about to turn 59, trying to be 25. What do you reckon? Anyway, hope you're well, guys. I've had an interesting day. I think we can move on from the whole Cindy Esposito, Joe Esposito situation. I've said I have made multiple videos concerning that topic. I think she's going to regret going on to Danny Smith's, where Danny Smith says that Donna was at Graceland's, is family, is a blood relative, is his cousin. What is I think she's going to regret going on a video that says she was there, that Danny Smith says it, and then doing a mic drop and saying he wasn't, saying Danny was, Donna wasn't. It's like a comedy sketch, isn't it? It's like, anyway, we're going to move on from that, but we are going to be doing a Joe Esposito. We're going to try and understand Joe Esposito, good and bad, warts and all. We're going to look at his life, all the good things he did for Elvis, because he did do many good things, and how important he was to Elvis, because he was, yeah. And then we're going to look at the negative stuff, and we're going to look at the lawsuit that, you know, where Joe allegedly sued Elvis with the whole racquetball venture. It's not as simple as that, because there was more people involved. So I'm going to try and do some research, try and understand it. We have posted a few things. Manny at Elvis Blue Defending the King, he's posted a short explaining it. I have posted multiple things on my YouTube and on Facebook trying to understand it all, and I'm still learning myself. Remember, I fully say I am not a researcher, okay? I'm just Louis. I'm an Elvis fan in his kitchen that loves Elvis. It's that simple. And please know I don't dislike Cindy. Cindy, if you watch me, I'm sure you do. I don't dislike you. I was always nice to you. I've always been kind to you. You were not kind to me or to Donna Presley. I don't dislike you, but I do defend myself. I defend Donna, and I also defend Elvis. So yes, I discuss people that have trashed Elvis for money, even family, friends, acquaintances, bodyguards, you name it. Me and my group, Team Elvis. It's what we do. It's what we do. It's not hate. Defending Elvis is not hate. It's defending Elvis. You can call it whatever you want. You can call defending Elvis a tomato if you want. Defending Elvis is not a tomato. It's not hate. It's defending Elvis. Okay? Let's keep it real. So, right. So, this is like a little discussion quickly with Joe Sins. I want to straight away say to you guys, I like Joe. I respect him. I know he's a decent man, a good-hearted, kind man, a forgiving man, okay? And we've had our differences. We've fallen out before. He had Billy Stanley on his show. He's clearly a Billy Stanley friend and supporter, which is up to him. I don't agree with it because I think Billy Stanley has betrayed Elvis in the past. I don't like all of the things Billy Stanley says in interviews. He does speak well of Elvis, but he also says stupid things that don't need to be said in 2025, which is when the last time he said it, that Elvis had sex with his ex-wife. So I do like this book, The Faith of Elvis. I like it. It's a really good book. If you bought this book, you wouldn't regret it. It's a good book. I want to be fair to Billy. I've listened to loads of Billy's interviews, Billy Stanley. A lot of them are very good, but he always throws in the little digs, things that don't need to be repeated. He's generally quite positive, but he did, you know, he did on Joe Sin's show, he did decide to call Louis a clown after I was extremely kind to him. Yeah, I know you've all heard it before, but I'm still going to say it. He asked me to buy and read his book, which I did, and then he completely turned on me because some very odd person pretended to be Joe Esposito's son and spoke on my show. Not, you know, and then he had a go at me, and I think he was upset that I was friends with, at that time, I was friends with the female YouTuber that can't sing. he clearly doesn't like her. And he decided to have a bit of a wobbly and tell me to never say his name again, to never read his book again, and speak to me like I was a dog. But he also was polite. This is the thing about Billy Stanley. He can be polite and lovely, but then he can be arrogant and rude and bullshit and go, I'm the best because I knew Elvis. A bit of that side of him comes out. Oh, you're just a fan. You don't count. There's a bit of that in him as well, as if fans don't have the right. And I don't like the way Billy Stanley talks about Donna. He basically belittled the fact that she uses the Presley name, even though her mum was called Nash Presley before she got married, even though she's Minnie Mae's granddaughter, Dodger, and that Vernon is her mum's brother and her uncle. Yeah, it's just, I can't think of a more decent reason to call yourself Presley than the fact that your mother maiden name was Presley. Get it? So anyway, so I think Don has been very unfairly treated by Billy Stanley, yeah? But I see the good and bad in Billy, and I also see that Billy is the nicer one. So if I had to pick one, Dave, Rick, Billy, D Stanley, who is D Stanley is like horrific. Billy is the better one. I have to give him that, yeah? I do think Billy has a good side to him. I don't hate Billy. He does owe me an apology, and he's another one that says Elvis doesn't need defending, when he more than once told me that Elvis would love that I defend him. Billy said that to me many times. And Billy wanted me to bring him on my show and interview him. He asked me many times. And I never said no, I just put it off. Yeah. And the other thing was his family trashed Elvis. So when he says Elvis doesn't need defending, he's going to say that, isn't he? Because his whole family trashed Elvis. So we've had a couple of interesting lives today. We did a dog walk. We've obviously been discussing Joe Esposito's daughter. I definitely want to move on from that topic. I'm still going to speak about Joe, as I just said, but let's move on from that. I've got loads of things I want to discuss. Okay, so here goes, guys. We're going to do part 2 of Joe's interview. Now, Joe isn't going to like everything I say. We did part 1. I'm going to be straight with you. The problem I've got with Joe's interview, he's doing the review on Those Elvis Girls interview with David Stanley, which I'm so pleased that Billy and Joe Smith have come out on their YouTube channel, Elvis Fans Matter, and put David Stanley in his place, big time, and D Stanley. I'm so proud of Billy and Joe for doing that. I cheered all the way through it. So it was sent to me in the middle of the night. Oh, Billy and Joe have done a video. And I'll tell you what, when they started talking about that interview with Those Elvis Girls, David Stanley's disgusting words, it was like nearly 2 hours of crap coming from Dave Stanley's mouth. Another attempt to sell a trash tell-all book, to promote his new up-and-coming trash tell-all book, Surviving Elvis. Then he just goes on a disgusting, I don't even know the word, a disgusting 2 hours of trashing Elvis, betraying Elvis, stabbing Elvis in the back, blaming Elvis for everything. It's honestly the most horrific interview I've ever had to listen to, which you've already heard me say to you many times. So Tino's with me. I got a chicken in the oven. We're having Greek salad and halloumi and pita breads, wraps, all that. So I am cooking. There could be a bit of stop-starting. I may even change my hat a few times. So no matter what I say to you guys, I'm not angry. There's no hate. It's just Louis defending Elvis with his group, Team Elvis, Elvis Defenders around the world. That's all it is. By the way, Ginger Alden has been speaking to me again today. So has Donna Presley, about all of these things that are happening. Donna and Karen, Ginger Alden, they're all aware of what's happening. They've both given me their views. So watch this space, guys. But thank you to Ginger Alden and to Donna Presley for speaking to me. You know, when people try to belittle me, oh, he's just Louis in the kitchen. Huh, what does he know? He doesn't read any books, which I do read a lot of books. I got Ginger Alden and Donna Presley who were there. Ginger was with Elvis the last 9 months of his life. She's told me loads of information. Donna Presley was with Elvis how many decades? I've had loads of chats with Donna and Karen. It's like I was there. So no, I'm not your average defender. I have inside fly on the wall information. People that knew Elvis extremely well, even related to him, first cousin. So stick that in your pipe. Right. Thank you and welcome to the new subscribers. I don't know what's happening. For some reason, we're having a bit of an up whoosh for defending Elvis. There's we're getting a lot of support at the moment. New members, new subscribers. I don't know what's happening. Just suddenly I can feel everything moving that way. And it's happened in the last 3 or 4 days. So welcome to the new members. Okay. Now we do run a dramatic channel, guys. It isn't easy for us. We're not your typical Elvis channel that plays music and movies. We are a defending channel. So expect drama. Okay. Right. Here goes, guys. Now, I just want to say again, I don't want to fall out with Joe, but I'm going to disagree with him because I don't agree with his stance concerning the Stanleys. I know that he wants to be a friend to Billy Stanley and show some loyalty to Billy Stanley, and you can sense it in his review of the David Stanley interview with those Elvis girls. But I don't know. Of course, we know Joe exposes Priscilla and will speak negatively about Priscilla and her behaviour towards Lisa and Elvis. But I would say to Joe, you should be the same. If the Stanleys have trashed Elvis, I wouldn't be making excuses for them. There's plenty of books from the Stanleys and interviews, documentaries, and all the rest of it, tabloids, magazines, things that they should not have done. They stabbed Elvis in the back. Elvis was so good to them, gave them a dream life. Saved their lives, really. All of them. They all trashed him at some point. So I think Joe is a bit too kind. But Joe is kind and he's very forgiving. He's a lovely man. He has a very good heart. He has an amazing YouTube channel. So I don't think he's going to like this review because I will just speak my mind and I will... Elvis comes first. So Joe, please don't get upset with me. Elvis comes first. Not Billy Stanley. Elvis. So I won't make excuses for these people's behaviour. Okay? So here goes. And those Elvis girls, I've said it already, please come back. I have been getting messages now, people that know them, saying they are going to come back. They're just waiting for things to die down. It sounds to me like they've had some haters. You know, haters will hate. Not me. I have been very supportive. I posted I only sent those Elvis girls one email and I've posted it. It was a very short email. It was just that I support them and that Donna Presley has emailed them. That's all I've said. I've only ever sent them one email. I have never asked them to remove that video through an email, ever. Yeah? And then I have no other way of messaging them. Yeah? Obviously, I did my reviews. So... that's different. Yeah. Okay. So, and I only reviewed half of the video. That's the other thing, guys. I definitely was going to review the whole thing, 100%. But, obviously they removed it those Elvis girls removed it within a day of that video being made. So if they've received harassment, which they probably have, it was how much harassment you can get in half a day. Yeah. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I'll never know why those Elvis girls have removed the content, but the channel is still there and I've heard they are going to bring it back. I hope they do. Yeah. I have a lot of affection and love for those Elvis girls. I highly recommend their channel. Yeah. And I really hope they bring it back. Okay. No bad feelings. It was a mistake interviewing Dave Stanley. Trashers should not be given a platform. Never. Yeah. Especially when they're as bad as David Stanley, who has said the most disgusting things about poor Elvis. Yeah, and Gladys. Yeah. So even saying he committed suicide, he truly believes Elvis committed suicide, which is ridiculous. I think just the thought that anyone would believe that Elvis would commit suicide, knowing his daughter was there and Ginger was there, is bonkers. And I even think Dave has tried to rewrite how Elvis was found when he was found, you know, lifeless. David has even tried to rewrite that. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? He seems like a very bitter man. He's quite angry, quite rude, quite arrogant, and he wasn't right for that interview. I think Joe even said that he's not right for that interview. Yeah, on those Elvis girls. So here goes, guys. I'm waffling on. So we've done half of it. So I wanna just go with it. I have not watched the second half of Joe on Joe Sin's Rare Elvis Photos, a channel I fully support and really like. We do have different opinions. I've said it already. Me and Joe have different opinions about the Desiree Lucy book. I don't believe it. But the people that do believe it, I fully respect their right to believe it and have different opinions. In fact, anyone that has a different opinion than me, I respect that. And we definitely have different opinions about Billy Stanley and the Stanleys, 100%. And I don't think it's right to only defend Elvis when it concerns Priscilla. There is much more to defending Elvis than just Priscilla. And also, I think, you know, Joe is very understanding with all of the trashers. There's a lot of trashers that were close to Elvis, friends and family. And I just think, I think David is overly nice to these people, where I do think Elvis deserves a bit more defending. I think Lisa Marie would want a bit more defending, but I do also understand the whole with a forgiving heart, you know, no anger, no hate, try and defend in a respectful way. I think that's true. Now, Louis will get a bit, I do give people cheeky nicknames. I will call people fake Elvis fans, fake Elvis channels. I will say they're a bit nuts or unhinged, because many are. The cruelest people sometimes are Elvis fans, as those Elvis girls have found out. My way of dealing with the hate I receive, and I get a lot every day, so does my group, so does Donna, so does Ginger, is to just laugh at them and call them silly names. Yeah. I don't hate any of them. I just find them all ridiculous. Yeah. I laugh at them a lot. That's how I deal with them. Okay. So I do a bit of name calling, guys. I put my hands up, but it's silly name calling. Do you know what I mean, guys? Okay, guys. So here goes. Sorry for such a long waffle, but it is what it is.
You know, do we know anything for certain? No, we do not. Do I feel like he would have done that to his fans? But first and foremost to Lisa, no, I don't.
Let me rewind that a bit, because I'm not sure. I don't want to get you halfway into a topic. Let's play it again.
I think he retracted it.
Right. Okay. A bit more back. I think he's talking about something that Dave Stanley had said.
I mean, I get it. I get it. But you slip up and make one mistake, should you be condemned? And that's about Ginger. With David and Ricky, I don't.
Right. Okay. So I've already defended Ginger on this. I 100% think Ginger had nothing to do with the death of Elvis. That is how I feel. It was in no way her fault. This whole thing that she should have got up and checked him and all that. Sorry, no. I'm not falling for it. She was just his fiance asleep. Yeah? So, no. No, it's different with the people that gave Elvis his pills. That's different. Ginger is just an innocent girlfriend, fiance, asleep. That's all it was. So Joe gives the impression that he thinks maybe Ginger should have checked on Elvis. That is his opinion. His, not mine. I don't agree. Remember, I fully support Ginger. Fully. She was just a young lady, a bit out of her depth. She could never have known Elvis was going to die that night. No way.
Believe for a second anybody gave anybody anything on purpose to take him out. I just don't. There's a Z.
Yeah. So all right. Okay. So the whole thing with foul play with Elvis. Obviously, we know Vernon 100% believed there was foul play. That is a fact, not a maybe. 100%. Vernon did tell Donna he felt there was foul play, and I'll be honest with you. You know, I don't want to say names, but most of us know who Vernon thought it was. 2 names. I won't say them. But remember, Ginger Oldham, she was just getting on with her life, yeah? Elvis was getting on with his evening. He was preparing to go away for the tour. we all know that most of the footsteps Elvis took before he lost his life. We also know Elvis was excited for the up and coming tour and what he did that night. So through those hours, and we know who was there, don't we? So there's no way Ginger has any responsibility for what happened to Elvis. The whole foul play thing, well, Donna Presley and the Presleys believe there was. Vernon, to the day he died, believes there was. So it's possible. You can't rule it out. Yes, I think Joe brings it up that Dave was blamed, but it wasn't just Dave that was blamed. Ricky was blamed as well. Yeah. And there were other people there, wasn't there? I've heard a lot of different stories, guys. So no one's ever going to know what happened. Yeah. So what we do know is Vernon believed it. Vernon believed it. Yeah.
0% chance in my thinking mentality, but yet, they're the two most vilified, or especially David, because he's still here and he says things. He said the whole thing about Elvis taking his own life, that he believed that. Now, I think he retracted it. Could he have been? First off, we know he's sick.
So let me just say something, okay? I think he retracted it. I think he did, but Joe hasn't watched the interview. Joe hasn't watched the interview. If you want to see the clip, it's on my Facebook page of him saying, yes, I do believe Elvis committed suicide. And he did that a few days ago on those Elvis Girls interview. I've also got it in my reviews. I did a couple of reviews. I only reviewed half of those Elvis Girls show, okay? I would have reviewed all of it, but they deleted it, which is great. I'm glad they deleted it. That was the right decision. I really hope they don't bring that interview back. But anyway, so Joe, when Joe did not watch the interview, okay? So when he's giving his review, he probably doesn't know that Joe said, yes, I still believe Elvis committed suicide. He may go on to say it now. I'm not sure because I haven't watched it. But he did say it again a couple of times, I think, to those Elvis Girls. And it was pretty shocking to hear.
We know he's got a lot of issues going on. I don't know exactly what he's got. But sometimes you say stuff when you're sick that you don't mean.
See, look. Okay, right. I want to be fair here. He has a point, but come on. I'm sorry to say, but I do believe that the fact that Billy Stanley is Joe's friend is an issue here of loyalty to Billy. Yeah. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful to Joe Sins because I like him, but this to me is making excuses for Dave Stanley to say what he did. Now, a lot of you watching me are going to be Joe Sins fans. Yeah. Probably going to be loyal to him and upset with me. But I personally think there's a tone in this interview that shows that Joe Sins is being a little bit too loyal to Billy Stanley and making excuses for David Stanley. That's just how I feel. I'm not even trying to be nasty. That's how it feels to me. Okay?
Because you're angry or you're out of your mind. Not to give anybody a free pass, but he did. A 20 or 21-year-old girl be responsible for a 42-year-old man. I mean, I get it, but slip up.
I mean, guys, Ginger Aldrin was never responsible for Elvis, ever. That was not the case. She was his fiance. My wife isn't responsible for my life. Girlfriends I've had in the past are not responsible for my life. They're just my girlfriends or my wife.
Exactly what he's got. But sometimes you say stuff when you're sick that you don't mean because you're angry or you're out of your mind. Not to give anybody a free pass, but he did retract it, that Elvis took his own life. Do we know anything for certain? No, we do not. Do I feel like he would have done that to his fans? But first and foremost to Lisa, no, I don't.
So I think he means Elvis would not have committed suicide. Yeah.
But do we know anything for certain? We don't. We choose to believe.
Well, I don't agree with that. There's no way Elvis would have committed suicide, and he definitely wouldn't have done it to Lisa. 100%. And he's got his fiance in the bed waiting for him. Nah, it's 100% no.
Believe one way or the other. And that's the truth of the matter. Those of us that were not there, and those of us that are not God, which is all of us, only choose to believe what we feel is possible, what we feel could have happened, what we want to have happened. You know, all of us obviously wishes Elvis were alive, wishes there was a different result, wishes that when he went into the hospital in 74 and 73 and 75, 76, 77, that something would have stuck, that doctors would have gotten it right, that, you know, that what we know nowadays about opioids and how pain medication can cause more pain instead of taking it away. If we would have known then what we know now, what life would have been with Elvis instead of Elvis passing in 77, and all the lives that were affected negatively by his passing, from Lisa.
So very quickly, I don't doubt that Elvis was overprescribed, taking too much. Yeah? But what else could he do? What else could he do? Couldn't sleep, overworked, in pain. His body had serious health problems. 100% he was taking way too much. Self-medicating sometimes, too many doctors. It was a mess. But what do? You're in pain. Your body's letting you down. You're overworked. Pressure of being Elvis. So you turn to your doctor, don't you? You just turn to your doctor and go, give me something to help me to sleep, to give me energy, to ease my body pain, to fix my body, to get me through the day. What else could have Elvis done? What else could he have done? I do believe that, without trying to whitewash Elvis, I do believe that it all got too much. But I also think you cannot just blame just the prescription medication. You have to understand that his body had serious health problems. You can't ignore it. His body had serious health problems. Okay, guys, let's. I had to stop and start then. Sorry. Right, let's go.
To David, to Ricky, to Billy, the Stanley. I personally don't have any, except that, once again, I don't really have an excuse for her, except that she apologized to Billy on her deathbed. I guess that's good that she caused that much pain for him. But it is a struggle, and of course, I'm critical of Priscilla. But I think in my videos, a lot of times I take the stance of, hey, there was some issues with her that she struggled at, but she's now, and once again, she's still kind of saying the same stuff over and over again as well, kind of like the whole David thing. And once again, I'm not giving David a free pass on this. I think that as a grown adult, you can choose the words you say. And I think maybe he's saying it either for his own good, the whole junkie word, because that's who he is, or was. Or he's doing it to tick off Elvis fans, which is not fair either. But they still are hating on him.
Right. Right. I need to digest that. I think he's using the word junkie because he's arrogant and he thinks he knows better. I was there. I know what happened. I was there. Shut up. Shut up. That's what Joe didn't see that. But in the interview, Joe, just so you know, in the interview, Dave Stanley was like, shut up. You talk about Elvis, you weren't even there. That's how that's how Dave Stanley was talking. Oh, you talk about Priscilla, you weren't even there. Why is she blamed? She didn't do anything wrong. She was a prisoner. Get it? That's how he was saying. Just shut up. That's how Dave Stanley was talking. Yeah? And, of course, Priscilla did a lot of wrong to Elvis and to Lisa. I completely accept that she also, there was good and bad with Priscilla and Elvis, with Priscilla and Lisa. Of course there was. Happy times, sad times. But they definitely should never have married. Yeah? So I found Dave Stanley extremely rude. Extremely rude. He definitely had a pop at me. He definitely was talking about me. I don't care what anyone says. When he said, oh, you think you're a super fan, you can pick a topic and run with it and then get some views, make some money. That's how he was towards me. Yeah? I'm just defending Elvis. So let's keep going.
So I really wished I would have gotten a copy of that transcript, but I remember the things that he said.
Do you know what? The transcript isn't good enough. Yeah? You had to see his body language and the way he was acting, his mannerisms. Yeah? It was more than just the transcript.
Because that's who he is, or was. Or he's doing it to tick off Elvis fans, which is not fair either. But they still are hating on him. So
well, yeah, of course they are. You only have to look at Dave Stanley's history and Rick's, and a little bit Billy, and definitely D Stanley. That is why the fans are hating on the fans aren't just hating on them for the sake of it. Stuff happened, stuff that he allegedly apologized for, but then in this interview, every single thing that and mistake and negative thing he ever said about Elvis in this interview, this 2-hour interview with the intention of promoting the book Surviving Elvis, because that's why he was there. Yeah, that was his main reason to be there, to try and help promote his tell-all trash book that was going to be a lot worse than this. His new tell-all book was going to be much worse than this. Surviving Elvis. People are fed up with tell-all books. Elvis tell-all books. Now people are fed up with them. They don't want any more. But he's living in the past. A 70-year-old man living in the past thinks that these tell-all trash books are going to make him rich, make him loads of money. Of course the fans are upset with him.
I really wished I would have gotten a copy of that transcript, but I remember the things that he said, you know. And he was defiant, he was upset.
Hang on, you've just said you remember the things he said. So Joe, did you watch it? Did you watch it? It's just you saying that is now making me think you did watch it. But anyway, let's keep going. Or do you? Oh no, actually, no. You're talking about in the last 40 years, because Dave Stanley has been trashing Elvis for 40 years in front of Lisa Marie. We must all remember this. In front of Lisa Marie, this all happened, which is why she wanted nothing to do with these people.
Still an Elvis fan, blaming him. You know, used the word junkie a lot of different times to describe, I think, himself and Elvis. And he defended Priscilla.
He definitely did, and that's a whole story in itself. He massively defended Priscilla in this interview, made loads of excuses for her, blamed everything on Elvis, nothing on Priscilla. Priscilla made loads of mistakes with Elvis, multiply unfaithful. Priscilla did many things that the fans are so upset about, even towards Lisa. He was defending her like he still loved her, like he was in love with her. And there are rumors. We know that the skinny dipping thing did happen at his apartment. I know it because Billy Stanley confirmed it to me. Now, there's a rumor about them being found in a car together, David Stanley and Priscilla. Come on. Come on.
So,
does anyone think Elvis would be okay with the skinny dipping event or them being in a car together? The possibility that they may have had sex? It's possible. Now, everything I say on this show is for entertainment purposes, not fact, just an opinion. We're having a discussion. Nothing I say is truth or fact.
Anyhow, just curious. When I watched it, there wasn't many views on it. I think it was 700 views after 16 hours release, which is fairly low for...
All right, so he did watch it. He did watch it. Let's keep going.
Something as controversial as that would have been. And I think when they released it, it was during all the Trump stuff being at Graceland. But if you did see it, what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on what I've shared about how we just probably need to quit pointing a finger at who's responsible for Elvis's death? There was a lot of responsibility in it, first and foremost. It starts with his DNA, all the things that were wrong with him. You know, you've got people in his life that caused a lot of stress and a lot of drama, which, you know, we know Priscilla did. But ultimately, is she responsible? You know, I mean, I think that, I know I wrote that song. No, she's not responsible. But everybody had a bit of responsibility in Elvis's life. But the main one was Elvis. I mean, Elvis did as good as he could. He lived as long as he could. Yeah, we know he took too much medication. But he also trusted the doctors. He also probably felt he had no choice. What, live in pain? Not be able to sleep? Not be able to get up? A lot of responsibilities that you and I, the average person, cannot relate to. You know, but I just wanted to put that out there.
No.
That understand that everybody had a little bit of a part in it, like we all do. We all affect our fellow man, our family, our friends, but ultimately the responsibility for anybody's unhappiness or their health, you know, or their actions comes down to them and them alone. You know, and that's just the truth of it. Some things might lead you in a certain direction, but we all are blessed with the ability, you know. But once again, I mean, going back to Elvis and his health, do I think Elvis was meant to live much longer than he did? Probably not. I've always said that Elvis lived to be 42 years old. But in those 42 years of life, if you think about it, 24 of those, from the time he was 18 and up, was lived with the pedal to the metal, with more work, more responsibility, more stress than anybody else that's ever lived on this earth. That's what Elvis did from 18 to 42. I mean, pedal to the metal. Family, friends, money, responsibility, everybody around him. Nobody knowing the true Elvis except a few people around him, like Larry Geller, perhaps. Perhaps Charlie Hodge. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. Your own innermost demons, your thoughts, your feelings, how many people do you share that with? Not many. Most people don't.
Sorry, guys, I had to stop starting it. The chicken's nearly cooked, but we're okay. We've got about 10 minutes left. Let's keep going.
How many people do you share that with? Not many. Most people don't. And so that's a heavy responsibility for somebody like Elvis, who felt like the world expected concert shows, that image that he talked about, that, you know, the man is different than the image, and it's hard to live up to the image. But he still went out and did all these shows and told Colonel Parker to book another tour and book another tour and book another tour. Could Parker have said no? Yes, he could have. He could have. He could have said, boy, you need to get your stuff together. You're too sick. You're going to kill yourself. You know, find yourself some treatment or whatever. Sure, he could have. Right?
Well, as far as I know, he was getting treatment. Elvis had a lot of treatment in those last 3-4 years. But do I think Parker could have stopped Elvis from working? Nah. Elvis loved being Elvis. He loved touring. Also, Elvis had responsibilities and he wanted to fulfill them. Do I think Elvis should have stopped working? Definitely. He should have took a long rest, a long break. Elvis was his own man. No one was telling Elvis what to do.
You know that, but ultimately, Elvis wanted to keep working. He needed to bring the money in. For those of you who don't know, that the bills of Graceland and the estate.
And he loved it. And he loved it. I definitely think Parker did things that were wrong, was very greedy, was getting paid way too much. Parker made plenty of mistakes. I want to do the whole Colonel Tom Parker as a topic separately, but let's keep going.
Or $500,000 a month. $6 million a year. Today's money, $60 million. Think about that. That's a responsibility. Every morning when you wake up, you got money going out, a lot of money going out. So you got to have money coming in. You've got to tour because your records aren't selling, right? You're not making any films. Where is the money coming from? From the tour?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree his record sales were a lot less, but they were still selling. I do feel that Elvis was pressured to work more, but he also wanted to. Elvis loved touring.
And I think Elvis was caught in a trap. That's just...
I accept that he would have had periods where he got tired of it. Of course. But he loved being Elvis. Come on. He loved being Elvis.
Suspicious Mind song is not about Priscilla when I think of Elvis's legacy. Elvis was caught in the trap of being responsible for everybody else around him, for paying Priscilla all that money, for Parker's 50% that he's in his contract with.
I'll tell you what, the amount of money Priscilla got is shocking. Again, we'll do that as a completely separate show. There's a lot to go through with the amount of money Priscilla got.
To get out, Parker having this gigantic bill that's owed to him, and Elvis can't get out of this contract. And that's back in 73, 74. And Elvis continued to live for another 3-4 years with that weight on his shoulders. And yeah.
True. Priscilla, I'll tell you what, she robbed him blind. She robbed him blind.
Yeah. Was somebody going to come in and buy out Parker's contract? Maybe. Gosh, I mean, where was that information 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago? Is that even true? We know that Elvis said he was going to go to Europe and wanted to go to Europe, and that there were insurance policies and that the Lisa Marie couldn't fly over there. We know that. We know that in the 1987 book by You Lonesome Tonight, written by Derry Matera and Lucy DeBarber, that she said, Elvis said, a couple weeks before he passed, that he was cleaning house, that he was going to be going to Europe. That's like 1984 to 1985 when that was written, released in 87. That is early information. Which, once again, that's one of the reasons why I've taken the stance that I've taken. you know, that I do believe that there was some sort of relationship with Lucy and Elvis. Whether, you know, it's as big as it's made out to be in general, Elvis did reach out to a lot of people when he was not feeling good, when he called Jimmy, well, he called Nixon, and then he called Nixon again when in the middle.
So just on the Lucy book, guys, I'd rather not comment on the Lucy book. Yeah, you know how I feel. I don't believe it. But the fact that Joe does, I fully respect that. And to anybody that does, I fully respect that. I'm not against it. I like Dario Matara. I actually get on well with him.
Of the night when he was on too much medication. But we know Elvis would reach out to people. He didn't need everybody to pick up the phone and make phone calls for him. Elvis was not helpless. Yes, he did, you know, delegate phone calls, this and that, to a lot of people around him. But what we know about Elvis,
come on, a typical celebrity that is everyone's working for him and people do everything for. That's pretty normal. Pretty normal. I remember when I was running my businesses, I had 45 staff. Everything was being done for me. Yeah. It's just pretty normal stuff, guys.
in the last year of his life, is a lot less than we know about him from 1956, 55, 54 to 1976. Because Elvis, at that point in time, in 1977, had Ginger around, had Ricky and David around. Billy would come over and visit when he could with work-wise and stuff. He had...
Well, there's a complicated story with Billy, isn't there? Billy, as far as I know, Billy, there was a period where he wasn't even allowed around Elvis. Yeah? It's complicated, isn't it, guys? I'm not going to bring that up now, but let's keep going.
You know, Charlie Hodge was around, obviously.
More than around. He lived with Elvis.
Obviously. Joe Esposito on the tour. So, but I'm just saying that a lot of the information that we have about Elvis, I think there's a lot more unknown from the end of 76 to 1977.
Well, I found out today that Joe Esposito tried to sue Elvis over this racquetball thing with other people in 76. I knew about it, but I didn't. I'd forgotten it was 1976. But anyway, you guys send me the info because you know I get it wrong. I'm not a researcher, guys. So just Louis in his kitchen. I'm just a fan.
And Elvis had a phone in his room. He could make phone calls. So for us to sit there and say he couldn't have called Lucy or called Anna Margaret or called a bunch of other people, he certainly could have. They.
As far as I know, he was in touch with Anna Margaret. Obviously, she was married, guys. She was had a very busy career as well. I'm not going to comment on the Lucy thing.
They ain't releasing no phone bills from Grayson, are they? Nope, not a bit. If they would do that, that would clear up all this stuff. But I think they don't, because they'll find phone numbers that belong to people that have made claims. Why
that is a bit of a, I think.
Why wouldn't Elvis? Anyways,
no, come on. No one really knows the day-to-day goings on of Elvis with whoever.
You know, it's one of those things where I said I wasn't going to make a video about it, but then I thought I did want to put out my thoughts on it and maybe provide.
But don't forget, that brings me into it, yeah? Because at the beginning of this video, Joe says, you know, those Elvis girls, David Stanley interview, they may have shut their channel down, you know, Louis may have spoke to them. So I had no choice but to do this reaction. I am being blamed for those Elvis girls shutting their channel, but it's not my fault. I just did a review reacting to David Stanley's disgusting interview. The interview was on those Elvis girls show. So I defend Elvis. I run a Defending Elvis channel. I literally had to respond because it was the most disgusting interview I've ever heard. Ever. Yeah. So Joe does a reaction to that interview with those Elvis girls. My name is mentioned. I had to react. And actually, the second half of this interview is a bit more laid back. I still feel that Joe is being a bit too loyal to Billy Stanley and making excuses for David Stanley, but not, I don't mean that horribly. I wish we had that interview so we could really go through it again. And I think if Joe watched that interview for a second time, he wouldn't be so kind to Dave Stanley. So trying to make excuses for him so much. Yeah. And of course I know Joe loves Elvis. And he defends Elvis concerning Priscilla, but there's more to defending Elvis than just Priscilla. Like, he does briefly mention Joe Esposito. He picks up the book Good Rocking Tonight. Joe has made mistakes, just like almost all of the people around Elvis that Elvis trusted, loved, was good to, related to, married to, girlfriends, cousins, stepbrothers, you name it. They all trashed him. They all had their pound of flesh. They all double-crossed him. And I think that Elvis should be defended. All of these things should be discussed. All of them. I don't think it should be forgotten about, ignored. I don't think people should bury their head in the sand and act like it never happened just because they worship certain Elvis people, inner Elvis circle people. I think Elvis needs to have some kind of movement. My movement, Donna Presley's movement, Ginger's movement. There should be something that that stands up for Elvis, stands up for his dignity, stands up for Lisa Marie. 100% I believe Lisa would want Elvis to be defended. I don't think we should attack all these people, but I definitely think Elvis should have his say. The way Elvis has his say, we give Elvis a voice. We say, that shouldn't have happened. It wasn't fair. It wasn't right. It was a betrayal. It's no different than me reacting to the Dave Stanley interview with those Elvis girls. If we hadn't have reacted to that interview, it would still be on YouTube. I 100% believe that us reacting to that interview, my group, Team Elvis, I think that's the reason that video is gone, removed, gone. That video did a lot of damage to Elvis's reputation. The most disgusting things were said, even that Elvis committed suicide in front of his daughter and many other things. Yeah, it was the right thing for us to respond and defend Elvis concerning the Dave Stanley interview with those Elvis girls. I'm gutted that they've removed all their content. I'm hoping it's just temporary. And today someone told me it is temporary and they will be back. So girls, please come back. Please reinstate your videos, get back to normal. Let's move on from this. Don't let the haters win. Girls, don't let the haters win. There's a lot of very evil, nasty Elvis fans out there. I am dealing with them daily. All day, all night, 7 days a week. I laugh at them. Learn to laugh at them. Seriously, don't take them seriously. These people have very bitter lives, yeah, and can be very cruel. And it's not even about Elvis. They just are looking for an excuse to be vile, to be cruel, to be nasty. Where all we're doing is standing up for Elvis because he doesn't have a voice. We're standing up for Elvis because Lisa Marie doesn't have a voice. That's all we're doing. We're trying to give some kind of protection for Riley, Finley and Harper. For Gladys. Come on, Gladys has been trashed by D. Stanley. Gladys Presley, Elvis's mum. Someone's got to be there for Elvis. And it's us. Could you imagine a world with no defending of Elvis? And just everyone had their way. Did what they wanted, said what they wanted, wrote books as they wanted. When David Stanley brings out the book, Surviving Elvis, we're going to be there. We're going to be there against that book. That book is going to be disgusting. He will bring it out. He thinks he's going to make a lot of money. Nah, we will fight him all the way. The title Surviving Elvis is disgusting. It's despicable. Elvis deserves so much better. Elvis was so good to that man, to his whole family. He literally saved them, and then gave them a dream life. And their gratitude, all of them, is that David Stanley interview 3 days ago with those Elvis girls where he spent 2 hours trashing Elvis. And that included Gladys. Fully showing support for Priscilla, blaming everything on Elvis. Everything that went wrong between Priscilla and Elvis was Elvis's fault, according to David Stanley. And he was bloody rude and arrogant. Have no respect for Elvis, no respect for the fans. Obviously thinks Elvis doesn't need defending, which is ridiculous. We're going to fight that book all the way, yeah? That book is going to fail. You're going to sell it. You're going to get it out there and sell it, but it won't make the money you want it to make. It's not going to make you rich, David. You're 70 years old. You're being looked after at Westgate. Lucky you. Lucky you. There are fans that are blinkered, that have purposely forgotten what you did to Elvis, what your family did to Elvis, what the Trashers have done to Elvis, including Priscilla. Well, I haven't forgotten. My group hasn't forgotten. Ginger Alden hasn't forgotten. Donna Presley hasn't forgotten. True Elvis fans defend Elvis, and they don't ignore the wrongdoing of the past. Unfortunately, many do, so that they can carry on worshipping their new heroes, the Trashers. The Trashers. And it's wrong.
A little bit of healing if you think a different way. I mean, I think anger inside. See, I don't have anger at Priscilla. I got frustrations at Priscilla. I do. I wish that for the sake of her own self, she communicated what we feel like we know is the truth. We already know that she wasn't a very good mom. She's admitted that, but at the same time, she's...
But hang on a minute. You know, I mean, I definitely don't... I'm going to shut the door. The dog's just open the door. But come on, come. I definitely don't have anger with my defending. I'm not capable of being angry and cruel and vile. What I am capable of is of being sarcastic. That is my way of dealing with all these people that have double-crossed and backstabbed Elvis. You know, this ridiculous situation with Cindy Esposito and Joe Esposito's daughter. I deal with it in a comical way. But I also am pretty gutted that these people are so... have all seem to have forgotten about Elvis and what he went through. They're supporting the Trashers, yeah? And we're the bad guys. We're told that defending Elvis is hate. It definitely isn't hate. Defending Elvis is defending Elvis. That's what it is. And it isn't just me doing it, is it? They tried to blame Louis. Oh, that Louis in the UK. If Louis wasn't about, everything would be fine. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. And it's not just me defending now, is it? It's thousands of people. It includes Donna Presley, Elvis's first cousin. It includes Ginger Alden. So this isn't about Louis anymore, guys. Yeah. And trust me, the Elvis world would be very different if there was no defending of Elvis. And not in a good way.
Backhandedly insulted Lisa after her death. The book part. I don't like her decisions. And I don't like David.
There's just one more. He's talking about Priscilla. Okay. Joe loves to expose Priscilla and discuss Priscilla, the negative, horrible things that she's done. I love exposing Priscilla. She has been disgusting to Elvis and to Lisa. Okay? But defending Elvis isn't just about Priscilla. There's a lot more to it. There are many more people that defended out that trashed Elvis. And the Stanleys are a big part of it. All of them. So it's not good enough just to call her bobblehead and she's the only one that is in the wrong. No, there are many people that are in the wrong when it concerns to Elvis. People that let Elvis down, betrayed him, double-crossed him. People that Elvis loved and trusted. People that Elvis respected. People that Elvis that shared his private life with. And these people shared Elvis's private life, private health problems, private sexual details. These people shared things that Elvis would never want shared. True or not. True or not. It's not just Priscilla. Priscilla is one of the people we exposed. And this is where I think you miss out, Joe. They all need exposing and discussing. Without hate, yes, we must be understanding. Yes, to a certain degree, forgiving. But they have to. The people that betrayed Elvis, they have to have some form of give, some form of apology, regret, remorse. Then we forgive. If these people are stubborn and refuse to show regret and say sorry, say they have nothing to apologize for, then we've got a problem, haven't we? Yeah? It doesn't mean we hate them. It means Elvis deserves better. So my thing to Joe is, it isn't just Priscilla who we expose, yeah? Everyone that trashed Elvis, we should discuss it. We should defend Elvis. We should analyze it and try and give Elvis's side of the story, because maybe they're lying. maybe they've exaggerated. As many say, it's been sensationalized so that more books are sold, so there's more views on TV, on social media, in tabloids, magazines. You get it? So Elvis needs a voice. If we can't be his voice, who's going to do it? Me, Team Elvis, my Defending Elvis group, again, Donna, Ginger, and more defenders that are joining us, okay? If we don't give that voice, who's going to do it? It's not just about Priscilla. There's too many Elvis fans that just want to hate on Priscilla, but they have forgotten all the other people that also trust Elvis. I'm at the front of the queue for exposing Priscilla, the disgusting things she did towards Elvis and Lisa. I'm there. But there's not just one person at the front of that queue. There's a lot of people. And these people were Elvis's friends and family, people that he trusted, Memphis Mafia, ex-wife, stepbrothers, cousins. Get it? So I will not show any defending towards David Stanley. I'm horrified by David Stanley's behavior, that in 2026 he can still say all of the same disgusting things about poor Elvis and support Priscilla and say Elvis doesn't need defending, be pretty rude to the fans, pretty arrogant, even cocky. Nah, that is our job. We jump in, and thank God we managed to get that video removed. And it was the right thing. I wouldn't change a thing. We had to do it. And I will carry on doing it. If other people do things that trash Elvis or trash Lisa Marie, I'll be straight in there. If people make excuses for Priscilla, painting her as the good person, the savior of Elvis, I'm straight in there. Straight in there. Yeah? Defending Elvis. It's not hate. It's defending Elvis.
Stanley's decisions. But do I understand where they could come from? Yeah, I do. I believe that they come from PTSD, hurt, anger, which is not a good place to make decisions in. Try to make decisions out of love, understanding, forgiveness. That's me. But David's also very sick. He's got a condition that's going to kill him. And he's got a new book, I guess, coming out. And
right. Well, he's 70 years old, so he's had a very long, full life. I don't wish bad health on anyone. I don't wish anyone to die. Of course not. Then you go on to say he's got a book coming out. Isn't this crazy that at 70 years old he wants to do a fifth book, a tell-all book that's going to be a lot worse than that? Elvis, what happened? And that book, we know, is going to point the finger at everybody and blame everything that went wrong to everyone around Elvis on Elvis. It is so obvious that David Stanley is playing the victim. Look, poor me, look what I went through. Priscilla does that. Poor me, oh no, I couldn't have lived that life. I was in a prison, a gilded cage. He's doing a Priscilla. He's playing the victim, trying to get sympathy so he can sell books. Isn't that exactly what Priscilla did? She started doing interviews in the 80s, playing the victim, and then eventually getting some support. And then the book comes out and she makes millions of dollars. And then she spends the next 40 years cashing it in big time. The way she treated Lisa Marie is disgusting. So I'm not going to defend David Stanley. Not 1 ounce. He doesn't deserve it. There is a time for forgiveness. That isn't it. That interview isn't it.
And he's trying to promote it. But like I said, I don't know David. I don't know him. I don't know Ricky. Ricky's passed away. I do know Billy Stanley. So that's my take on it all. What is coming up here on the channel?
Right, okay, that's the end of it. So he ends it with my main concern on this review. Joe ends it. Joe, yeah? By the way, Joe knows I'm doing this. Okay, this is part 2. Okay. I'm not comfortable doing this review. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some Joe Sins, Rare Elvis Photo supporters turn on me, unsubscribe, hate on me. Every time I talk about Joe, that tends to be what happens. You know, the last time me and Joe fell out over Billy Stanley's disgusting interview, because I actually think that interview that Joe did with Billy Stanley was horrible. I think Billy Stanley used Joe's platform to attack quite a few people, not just me, calling me a clown. He even attacks Elvis because he starts talking about, on Joe's show, Billy Stanley starts saying, oh, by the way, Elvis shagged me ex-wife. Why? Why would that even need to be brought up in 2025? Literally a few months ago. Just before Christmas, I think it was. Why? He'll be in the interview with Joe Sins going, oh yeah, you know, we have to lift Elvis up, you know, be positive. I'm fed up with negativity. But then he comes out with that. Then he says Elvis doesn't need defending, even though his whole family trashed him. Then he says that Louis guy who defends Elvis is a clown, even though he used to tell me that Elvis would love that I defend him. That he was asking me several times to come on my show so I would interview him. Billy Stanley, even though Billy Stanley asked me to buy and read his book on my YouTube channel. He joined my live streams more than once. Joe Sins' big platform of 65,000 subscribers was used by Billy Stanley to attack me, to say negative, trashy things about poor Elvis, his so-called brother. He has a go at Donna. He belittles Donna for using the name Presley, even though he had admitted that his last name is Presley. Billy Stanley officially changed his name to Presley. His name is Billy Stanley Presley. A lot of people don't know that, but then he belittles Donna Presley for using the Presley name, saying that her parents wouldn't like it, even though her mum's maiden name was Presley, and that she's Elvis's first cousin. Her uncle is Vernon Presley. Do you get it? So Billy Stanley uses his opportunity to have a few digs at people. He does it on Joe Sins' show. There was a big hurrah about it, wasn't there? A big falling out with me and Joe Sins because of Billy Stanley. Billy Stanley didn't have to act that way on Joe's show. Didn't have to, but he did. He used the fact that Joe has a massive platform and a lot of support to have a go at me, have a go at Donna, have a go at Elvis. Billy Stanley thinks he's really important. He has a big thing where it's like, oh, I was there, I lived the life. He even said that Elvis fans didn't really have the right to talk about Elvis and defend him because they didn't know him. I was there, I knew him. Bearing in mind, Vernon and Dee divorced. So he's not an ex-stepbrother. He's an ex-stepbrother. Elvis never adopted these people. He even tries to say that Elvis gave him permission to use the Presley name. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I've heard the opposite. I don't trust Billy Stanley. The one good thing I will say about Billy Stanley is that this is a good book, The Faith of Elvis. That's the only thing I'll give him. I have been reviewing a disgusting book that was done a couple of years after Elvis died. That was Dee Stanley, Ricky Stanley, Billy Stanley, David Stanley. It is a disgusting, trashy, horrible book. They were trying to make money out of Elvis within a few years of Elvis dying. Remember, the whole foul play thing is a massive concern for fans as well. Some fans believe that Ricky and Dave were responsible, for the death of Elvis. That's the truth of it. Donna Presley has told me that Vernon felt that there was a problem. So did the Presleys. I'm just repeating to you what has been said to me. So everything I say on this whole show is for entertainment purposes, not fact. I'm just discussing opinions on YouTube. Nothing I say is true or fact. It's just an entertainment show where we share opinions and discuss different views. That's all it is. So I'm very worried about Joe's friendship with Billy Stanley because there is a roll-on effect. how it affects his views on David Stanley. You know, I don't accept that David being unwell is an excuse for his behavior on that disgusting interview with those Elvis girls. Now, I don't want to fall out with Joe, but I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be a fraud. I don't want to be a fraud. This is how I feel, and I'm going to speak my mind. If I lose subscribers, if I become unpopular with certain people, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I've never done my stuff to be popular or to have subscribers or more views. I speak from my heart with my group, Team Elvis. I feel very grateful that I have people like Ginger Alden and Donna Presley with me. Yeah, and my amazing group of defenders around the world that support me, and I support them as well. I have my own family, my Team Elvis family. So lucky me. Lucky me.
Coming up soon. I've got more readings of Child Bride, Good Rockin' Tonight.
So, okay, guys, I'm going to have to go. I think I've been as honest as I can be. It's a very long interview. We've been over an hour. Sorry that the light is a bit weird. You know, the sun's all... You can't even see me, can you? I definitely don't want to upset people. I don't want to fall out with Joe Sins. I think Joe Sins is a great guy, and I fully support his YouTube channel. But I'm going to be me. I'm going to be Louis. I'm not going to be a fake. Okay, guys? Right. So, love you guys, and I am so glad that interview has gone. Gone. Hopefully, forever. Love you guys. I'm going to post this. I'm going to join you in the comments. Sorry about the sunlight and all that. I'm going to go and finish off cooking my roast chicken with Greek salad and halloumi and pita bread and wraps and all that. And that's it. Team Elvis, you rock. Captain Louis out.